All right, it's saying that I'm live, but I'm not 100% sure. It looks like, yes, I am live. I'm up on my screen. So welcome everybody to another live unboxing of kind of a mystery bike, a very, very, very budget bike. This is probably the most budget bike, e-bike that I've had out of all the e-bikes that I've currently own. Let me know if you guys are able to hear me, if the audio is good, if the camera's not too dark. I think I've got it set up right, but not 100% sure. I'll just be watching on my phone over here to see what you guys have to say. But to get started, I just wanted to say thank you everybody for joining in. All good, awesome. Yes, another bike, mountain bike Q&A, my buddy, my pal. I've got this mystery bike right here. But before we get into this, thank you so much for joining. And guys, this wouldn't be possible without people like you viewing my content, so I greatly appreciate it. By you viewing my content, I get companies to send me bikes to be able to demo and test and review and let you guys know if they're actually worth buying, what the pros are, what the cons are. And that's kind of what I'm all about. Lately, I have transitioned over to more of product reviews, less trail building, which I hope to get to at some point. I know my buddy from Australia, he cut laps. He asked me if I was going to be doing any more builds this year, and I would like to get to it, but I've got so many products that I want to review and show you guys. And I pretty much like to ride every bike. So I'm really into mountain biking. That's my main thing, but I commute now to work at least once a week. I road bike occasionally. And I just like cruising around. And that's kind of what this bike is all about, just cruising around. But if you guys want to help support the channel, this is my plug. This is my pitch. This is something that I just feel like I need to do to let you guys know. There are super thanks that you can do for a one-time, thanks for whatever. And then there's also the member section, which I call my Drop-In Crew Pro members. And if you guys have been around and watched the channel a little bit, you probably have seen me talk about it. I don't promote it every single video because I kind of feel like I don't want to be pushing stuff on you guys all the time. But if you want to become a Drop-In Crew Pro member for the year of 2023, I'm doing a giveaway every single month for all the members that are on there. So you have a chance to win something every month. I think Chad has won Chad has won 3 times. A couple other people have won a couple of times. It's kind of crazy. There's not a lot of members on there, so your odds of actually winning something is pretty high. Last month, I gave away one of my Run Bike Mike shirts. And also, if you guys want to pick up any of that Run Bike Mike swag, you can do that over at Spread. I think I lost the name. I switched this year to a different company, and it's runbikemike.myspreadshop.com. There's a link in my main YouTube page, and there's also a link on my website. If you go to runbikemike.com, I have a whole bunch of stuff over there, a whole bunch of information, all my social media, everything. So I think that does everything. Oh, yeah. Another way to support the channel free is if you buy any products that I review, all those are affiliated. So like my Bikes Online stuff, the Truxus, the Ride One Up, anytime you see an Amazon link, it doesn't cost you anymore and it comes back, helps out the channel. That's stuff that I really do appreciate. It does make a big difference. And then of course, the ultimate free support to the channel is just liking the videos, leaving a comment. It helps push out my stuff to YouTube, the audience out there. Being a small channel, if you guys are a small channel or if you're aspiring to be a channel or you're a big channel, you already know the struggles. Whenever you're a small channel, pushing your stuff out is really hard. And it's supported big time by people like you, my audience, my supporters. So greatly appreciate that. But let's go ahead and let's get into this. Let me see if you guys have any questions or anything. The premium tee is nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad I switched over from the other company that I was with. I think the products with the new t-shirt company is a lot better. I've been a lot happier with them. They seem to get the product out really quick, and it seems to be a lot more durable, especially whenever you go to wash it. But what we're here for, and this is very, very budget. So this is an $889 moped style e-bike. Like I said in the thumbnail, this is a bike like no other that I've ever reviewed. Moped style e-bikes are becoming extremely popular. They're popularized by the Super 73, and companies like Ride One Up are starting to compete with that with their Rev 1. Well, there's some companies out there like this Jansno. They make this X50, which is a very entry-level way to kind of get into the moped style, to kind of see if that's something that you're interested in actually purchasing. Instead of dropping like $3 grand on a Super 73, you could pick one of these up and test it out, see if you like it. And then if you did, you could ride it for a while. You could do some upgrades to it, or you could sell it and then upgrade to a higher end version. So this is kind of a good entry level. So let's go ahead. Let's get this open. I'm not going to lie. I did sneak a peek at this already because I wanted to see what kind of condition this was in. Because I did see rumors that sometimes the packaging can be a little bit rough, but it looks good from the top. However, the battery was loose. So we're just going to start digging everything out of here so we can take a look at this bike. All right, let's see. Got a box here. Let's get this box knife out over here and get this thing cut open. So if you guys aren't familiar with e-bikes, there's basically a couple of different classes. The ones that you'll mainly hear about are Class 1 e-bikes and Class 2 and Class 3 e-bikes. Looks like, oh sweet, little phone holder. Didn't expect that to come with it. Some pedals. And they got all kinds of stuff in here. This looks like it's the headlight. We'll set this over here. It even came with a bike lock. I have never seen a bike come with it. And it's Giant branded. That's really interesting. Name brand bike lock on a budget bike. You get, I think this is the charger. We'll see what kind of amps this charger actually has. It is a 2 amp charger, so pretty standard. And then, I don't know what this is. It's like a do-rag or something. Let's see what this is. Oh boy. Yeah, I'm gonna really sport this one around. It's a skull face mask thingy. Yeah, that's not my style. Looks like you get a multi-tool. Pretty cool. It's always good to have extra multi-tools. And they even supplied a pump, a little, that's not the best looking pump I've ever seen. There's actually some glue on here. This doesn't even look like it goes in the box. That's weird. All right, we're gonna set that over there. That's an odd one. And then just a small set of tools. All right, get that out of the way and try to get to this good stuff here. I want to try to empty this out as best I can. Got a fender. I don't know if this is the front. I think this might be a front fender. And I know one other guy that reviewed this particular bike, his fender was broken, and I could see why, because this was just loose in the box. Here we go. And don't forget, if you guys have questions, just ask in the chat. I'll check it every once in a while. All right, I'm going to try to see if I can get this thing out of here. See if there's anything else loose down in here. I'm going to pull this out. But yeah, so a Class 1 e-bike, which is what you see most like Treks, Specialized and all that, they're going to be no throttle up to 20 miles an hour with pedal assist. So that's how you know what a Class 1 e-bike is. Let's see if I can do this. Oh yeah, it's not that bad. Not that bad. Oh, the battery's just loose in here. So hopefully that thing still works. Make sure that bike doesn't fall over. Yeah, so there's the battery. It's kind of scratched up, kind of dinged. Interesting. This is an LG battery, so that's good to see. 12.8 amp hours, 48 volts. So LG cells, that's a good sign to start off. You always want name brand batteries. Put that over there. And let's see. What's the weight on the bike? Oh man, I would say just using my hand scale here without the battery, that's probably about 55 pounds. I would say with this battery, you're probably over 60, just guessing, but it's not that bad. Since it's kind of smaller, these moped style bikes, they are going to be 20-inch wheels. So they're a lot smaller wheels. And that will, of course, save a lot of weight, because the traditional fat tire e-bikes that I've been getting have been 26-inch wheels, and those suckers are heavy. Super nice, but very, very heavy. Let's see if I can get this thing uncovered on the right side. Last time I didn't get it uncovered on the correct side, and you guys couldn't see it. That derailleur may be damaged. The chain looks all tied up in there. All right, let's start cutting these zip ties off. There we go. But back to my classes of e-bikes. A class 2 e-bike is basically the same thing as a class 1. The only difference is the class 2 has a throttle. So whenever you're going down the road, you don't have to use any pedaling to get it to go. So class 1 and class 2 both will do 20 miles an hour max. According to the stats, that's max. I would bet most of them do a little bit more than that. But 20 miles an hour is the regulation. And then a class 3 e-bike is what most of the bikes that I've been getting are. They're throttle assist, but they will throttle assist up to 20, or do throttle up to 20 miles an hour, but pedal assist up to 28 plus miles an hour. So they're significantly faster than a class 2 or a class 1 e-bike. And for commuting purposes, I only want a class 3. They're just, I commute, if you guys have watched those videos, about 18 miles one way. So my total trip comes out pretty close to 40 miles on a given commute day, depending on the route that I take. So I definitely want the fastest e-bike that I can possibly get, just to get me there, and then I can kind of cruise home at whatever speed I want. Let's see. Now this does have a dual crown fork, so that's kind of cool. I don't know how good this suspension is, but it kind of looks cool with the dual crown setup. See if I can get this tire off of here. Man, these 20-inch rims are tiny. Look at this thing. It's like a baby wheel. I haven't ridden a bike with 20-inch fat tires on it. So much smaller than the 26. It's crazy. I didn't think it would look that small in person, but you know. But yeah, I've got the tomorrow I've got a video coming out about the City Vanture. You guys saw that video. It was the road bike style e-bike with a 350 watt motor. That was the belt drive bike. Well, they sent me the extra battery for it, so I set it up in that video to do dual battery, which was kind of cool. It kind of inspired me to try to do my own dual battery setup on one of my other bikes. And I've got a whole bunch of parts here that I've got ready to go to potentially put a dual battery on one of my other e-bikes to double the range. And I'm pretty excited about that. I think that will be pretty fun to learn how a battery setup actually works and be able to customize and add batteries and extend the range of any e-bike that I get in the future. I think we got the seat here. Yeah, this is the seat. This is pretty cool looking. Check this out. Try to bring this over to you guys. I need to clean up some of this mess. But yeah, the seat looks pretty cool. It looks like a legit like moped style seat. So that's pretty awesome. Set that there. Now, this little wire right here, I watched a few videos on this bike. The controller to this bike is here, and let's take a look at the controller, see what the stats say on it. So this thing can push out, looks like 25 amps. So most of the bikes that I've been getting have between like I think it's like 16 and 20 amp controller. So with a 25 amp controller, this bike should potentially be able to go pretty quick. I'm guessing over 30 miles an hour. Well, from the factory, it's set down to, I believe, 15 and a half miles an hour. But this little cable right here, and I'm going to go ahead and just unplug it. This cable is supposedly the thing that is controlling it from basically being full open to limited to 15 miles an hour. So I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect it so I don't have to worry about doing it later. And hopefully the bike will turn on. But this is a dual suspension e-bike. So let's get this off of here and I'll show you guys. This has a shock in it, a rear shock. And I'm really curious if it's an air one. And if it is air, is there a port for me to actually be able to add air to it? Let's see. Well, I don't see a port. So it must just be whatever the manufacturer puts it at, that's what you've got to work with. So I don't know really what the weight is on that. So it could be set up really, really soft, or it could be set up for a heavier rider. So that's going to be really interesting. I'm hoping that it's kind of set up in between. So I weigh about 185, 187. With everything on, probably about 195, close to 200 with all my gear on and everything. But hopefully they set that up for kind of like my range of riding weight. We're about there. This frame is actually, it's pretty cool looking. I really think that this would possibly be a good frame to kind of like work off of if you wanted to build a faster e-bike than what this one can do. So I'm curious if this thing can get upwards of like 35 miles an hour, that would be pretty sweet. But I'm kind of wondering about how the range of the battery, being that it's a 12.8 amp battery, and knowing how far my Ride 1-Up Turris got me with the same size of battery, I'm kind of wondering how far can full throttle or just throttle only actually get you on that size of battery. But the good thing is that there may be a possibility of adding an extra battery to this. This has a pretty universal rail system right here that the battery will actually plug into. So I'm hoping that if this frame is pretty cool and kind of fun, that you could potentially do some upgrades to maybe a better front shock, maybe better front suspension, and maybe a bigger motor on the back. So that would be a fun kind of experiment to play around with. And it looks like this thing has a few turn signals with it, which is something that I haven't seen on any of the bikes that I've received. I haven't received any turn signals. Brakes on the Truxus. The Truxus has brakes. It's the only one that I've received with brake lights. But this one looks like it has front turn signals, which is pretty sweet. And up in there. God, I got quite a mess going on. All right, here we go. Does it seat two people? Well, Josh, you want to come over? We can take this thing down the drop-in together and see what can what can happen. I don't know. I mean, if it seats two people, it's going to be pretty tight. You're going to be pretty close with that person by the end of the ride. I'm willing to try it, but not 100%. Tell you what, Josh, if you come over and we ride it, then you can wear the skull face mask thingy. That would be pretty sweet. Brad, looks like Brad's in here. Brad just got a super sweet moped style. He got the Ride 1-Up, the Rev 1, which I told him I'd go out and ride with him while I ride this one. I said, just don't mock me for not having the nice moped style, and you'll have to wait up for me because that Rev 1 that sucker's fast. I think it'll go like 37 miles an hour, which is pretty sweet. And it's got a bigger battery. His has a 20 amp hour battery, which is a really nice size. And that's pretty common size. Whenever you start looking at moped style e-bikes, 20 amp hours seems to be pretty popular. And I think it's because when you go throttle only, it really does start to eat the battery down pretty quick. See if we can get this cleaned up real quick. Let's see. Brad says, oh, Josh, yeah, let's do it. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, 38. Brad hit 38 on that. That is so awesome. I hope this one goes 38. Well, maybe I don't. Maybe I don't hope it hits 38 because we'll see how stable it is at first. I mean, the build so far it looks pretty decent. Let's get these handlebars on here and we'll find out. I think I need a 4mm for these bars. Yep. And so yeah, I got some pretty cool news the other day. I'm working with Bikes Online again, which is who I worked with to do the Polygon Syncline C3 bike. And which I absolutely love that bike. Now that I've got all those parts upgraded on it, that hardtail it's a blast. If you are into XC riding, then it's super fun. It's not a jumper, any of that stuff, but man, that bike is awesome. So I'm super excited to work with them. I need to go back and look at the Rift Zone video that I created because somebody on there, I can't remember who it was, asked me to do a comparison between the Polygon T7 and the Rift Zone 1 that I am looking at from Marin. And I thought, that's a pretty good comparison. I was originally waiting for a different bike from Bikes Online, but it was out of stock. So I went ahead and talked to my contact there and said, hey, you know, I had somebody suggest this comparison. Do you think it'd be a good idea? And they were like all aboard. They were like, yeah, let's do that. That's a really good comparison because Bikes Online sells both Marin and Polygon. So it's a really good comparison for them. So they can basically, you know, showcase that and people can see, okay, well, do I want the Marin or do I want the Polygon? So I'm really excited. The T7 has been one of those bikes that I have looked at several times. The price point on that bike is unreal. It's just such a good price point for what you get. But the weight is the only thing that's kind of held me back. So typically the Rift Zone is a little bit lighter, but I'll be really curious to see if I can notice any weight difference or, golly, this screw is being really hard. Maybe, there we go. Or if it actually does weigh different, because sometimes online weights aren't super accurate. So it could weigh the exact same, or it could weigh more, or it could even weigh less. I guess those are all the options. I went through all of them. And these handlebars are kind of a pain. But yeah, so that is actually, I just got notification that it shipped out today. So I should have that bike probably by next week sometime, or maybe early the following week. And if you guys are interested in seeing a live unboxing of that, just let me know. I have a feeling that one's going to be a little bit more popular if I do a live for that one, because it's got a lot of people that like that bike. So there's a huge following on Facebook for it. And I've watched a few people like Jared from Cure Cycling. He's done a lot with that particular bike and a few other Polygons, and he really says that he enjoys them. So, and I trust his word on that one. And these are kind of different handlebars. They're almost like cruiser handlebars. They sweep way back. So this will be kind of interesting. This stem is super long too. I haven't seen a stem this long since like early 2000s. All the stems nowadays have gotten so short that seeing a longer stem, this is probably 110 millimeter stem. So I'll be kind of curious how this feels with the control. Now, your hands are way back here behind the stem, so it may feel just fine since it sweeps back so far. We are getting there. These things are super easy to put together. Now I say that and I haven't got it all fully put together, but they're surprisingly easy. And I think they put them about 80 to 90% together for people who aren't experienced with actually building bikes to make it as easy and user-friendly as possible. Let's see. Yep, no problem. We'll see you later. Oh, you're at the park and your phone is dying. Yeah, I would like to ride. I would like to ride. I'm hoping to be able to ride this as soon as possible. So I'm going to get let's get the front wheel on. And I may worry about like the fender and the light here later. We'll just get this thing going. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that Polygon. I think that's going to be a fun bike to play around on. There's a couple other YouTubers that I've seen here lately that have tried out their Polygons for the first time and seem to really like them. Matty Active was one of them that I've seen. This is a quick release, so that's a good sign. That Truxus bike that I got, it was actually a bolt-on, which kind of has a benefit and a downfall. The front wheel can't be taken off really easy, so you can't steal it, which is good. But it's kind of a pain if you have to take that front wheel off. You need a tool to actually do it. With this one, that's not the case. Go ahead and turn these out. I think this goes like this. Sorry if you guys can't see this. I'm just trying to get these turn signals put into place. And I will be doing a full video over all the specs of this bike and kind of what I think about it. One thing that I was noticing, I was like, man, for $889, you're getting a 750 watt motor. You're getting a almost 13 amp hour battery. You're getting a controller, which is a 25 amp controller. You're getting a computer setup for the handlebars, a full frame, a full bike. And so I was like, I wonder how much a kit system would be from Amazon, where if you had a bike and you just kind of put it all together. Well, the cheapest kit that I could find was right about $680 for the kit. And same battery size, same voltage. And I'm like, geez, for a couple hundred more bucks, you could have a whole frame and everything. You wouldn't have to worry about building it all up. So pretty good deal. So if you're looking at getting like an e-bike kit, you may skip it and just buy this. And then if you really wanted to, you could take the motor off and put it on a different wheel, swap out the controller and all that stuff. So for 890 bucks, not too shabby. These rotors are tiny, 160 millimeter rotors. Haven't seen rotors that small, except for on the sink line. The back rotor on the sink line is 160 millimeters. And if you're used to 180 or 203, it definitely looks weird when looking at a smaller rotor like that. All right, front wheel is on. We're going to go ahead. Let's see here. Can we zoom in during the live? So that's nice. Are you asking, can I bring the bike closer, or we can zoom in during the live? Are you gonna zoom over? You're gonna come over and ride right after I get this done? It might be just you and me right now in the actual live. This one's not as popular, Josh, as some of my other bikes. I've been trying to decide whether or not I want to continue with the lives. So if you're watching this after the fact, let me know what you think, because it's kind of like, do I do it? Do I not continue with them? It's hard to say. These bolts are going to be pretty tricky here. Well, these aren't lining up very well, so this might not go on right now. Man, those are not lining up right. That one in. Now, this is one thing that one of the other YouTubers talked about, is that this seat was kind of a pain. Let's see. Sorry if that was super loud. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if you can zoom in, Josh. Oh, you can zoom in. That's what you're saying. Nice. Get a nice close-up of me. Nice. Oh, if you're on the phone. Nice. Yes. That's the man who would know right there. He's the live guy. I don't know how you do it all the time. And it is not easy doing lives. Wow, that is very bad placement for this bolt. Very, very tight spot. Just get that started and get that tightened down later. Yeah, these bolts are kind of poorly placed. And I guess that's what happens when it's only a $890 moped bike. All right, we're gonna mess with that later. I want to put on, because I want to see if this battery actually works, because it's kind of scuffed up. I'm gonna show you guys here. So I don't know if you can see that, but the labeling's all scuffed up, and yeah, it looks like it was just thrown around inside the box there quite a bit. I don't think anything's damaged. But the nice part about these batteries is they're universal. So this battery is what I'm thinking I can use to make one of my other bikes a dual battery setup. So that'll be pretty sweet if that actually works. I should just pop in here like this. There we go. Looks like it's in. So I still have to put the pedals on, the front light, and then the fender. But I'm going to go ahead and power this up, and we're just going to see. I think that turned that on. We're just going to see if we can get this thing turned on. All right, we got power. Looks like it's in kilometers. Let me see if I can get this changed real quick. Sometimes you can change these settings. There we go, kilometers or miles per hour. This says 48 for the speed, I believe that is. I think that might be 40. I'm going to leave that. Oh, that's the voltage. I don't know what all those are, so I'm not going to mess with them. We're going to exit. And then we're going to put this thing on level 5. Hold up the wheel here. Ooh, that derailleur is messed up. I want to see what the max speed. Oh, geez. I want to see what the max speed that this thing actually spins at, because then that will kind of tell us what the max speed could be. Now, granted, my weight's not on it, so it'll be a little bit slower, but it's kind of a good idea. It won't go any faster than what it shows, but it won't go any slower. Okay, where's the throttle? Oh, it's a twist throttle. So 33.6 is what I'm showing on the speedometer. My guess is I probably will get that 28 miles an hour. With my weight on this, going down the road and the resistance. But the display is pretty standard. It's real similar to the Ride 1-Up display. Other than that, I've got to get the pedals put on, the motor's working, the chain's on, the battery works. I've got to get the headlight put on and then the front fender. So don't bore you guys to death. I'm going to leave it there. And I want to save some of this for the actual video, but tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow I've got that City Vanture dual battery install. That's going to be pretty cool. But I'm really excited about a Marin first ride video for the Rift Zone. That bike is just a ton of fun. I want to get that out there. And then also I've got a distance test for the Highboy Titan scooter. That's the dual motor scooter that I tested out for Highboy. And I'm going to do a full distance test on that to see exactly how far a dual motor high powered scooter will take you with a 17.5 amp hour battery. And I put it through some pretty hilly terrain out on the road. So it definitely gets pushed very, very hard. But yeah, so I've got the City Vanture, the Marin video. I've got the Truxus video coming up. Of course, this video will come out eventually. And then, of course, the Polygon Rift Zone, which is going to be one that I'm really going to put a lot of time into. I want to test them really, really well and make a really solid video for it. But with that said, if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to end the live here. I know I didn't get the bike completely fully built, but you guys have a general idea of what this thing looks like and kind of what it's all about. This is something totally different for me and for my channel. We'll see how this thing is. It looks pretty decent. There are a few things on it that are questionable, but for $890, it's a good starting point, I bet, I think. Not sure yet, maybe, for somebody wanting to get into a moped style. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks to everybody for watching all my content, following me on Instagram, Facebook, my blog, all that stuff. So until tomorrow, we'll see you guys later.